afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Carbon County Conversations. I'm Tracy Young. I am the coordinator for the Carbon County Prevention Network here in Carbon County. For those of you that don't know what Carbon County Prevention Network is, we are a coalition of concerned citizens that work around substance abuse and suicide prevention in your community. Today, I brought in one of the creators of Man Therapy. If you have not seen our Man Therapy social media ads, go check it out. It's on the Carbon County Prevention Network Facebook and Instagram. It's a really great campaign focused on men's mental health, and they do it with a lot of brevity and humor, and it's really, really great. It's really fun, but it also gets to the issue of helping our guys. We can all offer up help to our guys. Sometimes hearing it from other guys is a lot better way to do it. I'm going to turn it over to Trip. He is going to tell us all about Man Therapy and how you guys as the community can engage with this amazing campaign. Trip, over to you.
Great. Thanks so much, Tracy, and thanks everyone for joining. As a brief background, my name is Trip Starkey. As Tracy mentioned, I'm with the Man Therapy team. I'm just a little bit southeast of y'all in Denver, Colorado, where our team is based, and we've been doing this work with Man Therapy for over a decade now. And so I'm going to just give you all kind of a high-level overview of Man Therapy, what the campaign is, and how you can effectively leverage it in your community to really connect with men and support their mental health. So as a brief background, I know Tracy mentioned you all have been running a lot of promotion around Man Therapy with an emphasis on connecting men to care. Man Therapy really is a tool designed to do therapy the way a man does it, to break through stigma, to help encourage help seeking in men and really connect men with care online and in their local communities. So I'm going to just first start out by maybe laying the groundwork for what our common opponent is when it comes to men's mental health. So if you're unaware, these stats are readily available for anyone to look at, but working age men in the United States actually account for the largest number of completed suicides, and these men typically are also the least likely to seek and receive any kind of support when it comes to their mental health. Additionally, nearly 8 out of 10 completed suicides in the United States come from this demographic of working age men, which is 25 to 54 years old. And men in the United States are actually 4 times more likely to die by suicide than women. So what we really sought to do was take on this issue really head on and address the psychological underpinnings of depression, anxiety, suicidality when it comes to this demographic of men, and really connect them with a resource that can support them specifically. So what we learned in our research was that these big challenges like men's mental health really require a bold approach and bold solutions to actually do the work that we set out to do. So back in 2012, our team laid the foundation and the groundwork to really go after this challenge head on. So it was a multi-agency effort between the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, our sister company Cactus, and then the organization I work for, which is Grit Digital Health. And what we really sought to do was bring together experts in every aspect of the field to really find a way to uniquely connect with men and get them to seek help when it comes to their mental health. So this involved a group of mental health experts, suicidologists, and then people who really do good creative work. And what we found was that the best way to connect with men and to break through that stigma was actually to use humor and male stereotypes to disarm and get men to think differently about their mental health. So how that really works, I wish I could show this video. I tested it out and the sound unfortunately was not working, but we essentially invented Dr. Rich Mahogany. He's a Ron Swanson, Ron Burgundy hybrid. He's the hardest working therapist in the world. He's really designed to take a no BS approach to men's mental health, talk to men how men are talked to, and really get them to understand that addressing their mental health, taking advantage of support, and seeking help is actually the manliest thing you can do. So I am going to pass on through that, sorry. On top of what we did with building the character of Dr. Rich Mahogany was really to address these target outcomes when it comes to mental health. We really understood that the best defense is a good offense. So trying to get upstream of crisis for men, connect with them in a way that resonates in a language that they understand, and really encourage them to do something about their mental health. So again, really sought to shrink that stigma when it comes to men's mental health, understand that addressing mental health is the main least thing they can do. Increase help seeking. Oftentimes men do not want to reach out for help. I know this in my own personal experience with the other men in my life, that sometimes it is like pulling teeth to get men to say that they need help and raise their hand. So really finding a unique way to encourage men to seek help, whether it be online or in their local community, which is where our partnerships with organizations like Carbon County come into play. But ultimately get after our main goal, which is to decrease completed suicide and suicidal ideation in working age men by connecting them with the tools they need for support upstream of crisis, but also during crisis, if that's where they find themselves. The main way that we do this through the platform is through our evidence-based 18-point head inspection. This is a really easy, user-friendly way. It's free and anonymous for men to actually check in with themselves across a range of topics with things like depression, anxiety, suicidality, anger, relationships, sleep, all of the things that we grew to understand would impact one's mental health. So when it comes to mental health, again, not only is the best defense a good offense, but it's really understanding that mental health does not exist in a vacuum, right? For someone like me, my mental health will impact every aspect of my daily life. And the inverse of that, every aspect of my daily life is also going to have an impact on my mental health. So really finding a unique way to engage with men, to get them thinking differently about their mental health in a way that is free, anonymous, open and easy to use, ever present, always there for them. But then also connecting them to resources based on their results. So in your community, encouraging men to get onto the site, to take the head inspection, to connect with those resources that are relevant to those areas that are hyper important to them, is really how men therapy works. Additionally, on top of that, not only providing those assessments, but also providing that psychoeducation, right, to help men really understand how those specific areas impact them. So if they take the head inspection and maybe they score low on anger, we really want to connect them with resources that are, on the specific topic of anger, where they can understand better how anger is impacting them, how it impacts their mental health, how it impacts their relationships, how it impacts their ability to thrive, and then connect them out to those specific resources related to that, so they can start addressing it in their daily life. Additionally, we understand that when it comes to men's mental health, it's a community effort, right? All of the work that you all are doing in Carbon County, all of the work that we do in our family and friendship relationships, all of this matters when it comes to supporting men's mental health. So oftentimes we see a lot of visitors to man therapy are not the men themselves, but their caregivers, their spouses, their partners, their friends, their parents, children. We really wanted to provide a way for anyone to seek answers when it comes to men's mental health, and again, get connected to those resources that are relevant to that. So Man Therapy is a really interactive experience. Again, it's free and available. You can visit mantherapy.org right after this webinar, check it out, explore the resources, and get engaged with it. But what I think might be helpful to touch on in the time that we have today is not only what the campaign is, but also how we actually deliver impact in our communities through our partnerships. So one of the first ways we do is through our turnkey creative. So we understand that in order to get people to use a site, they have to be aware of it, right? So as Tracy mentioned, really providing our partnerships, our partners with the assets they need to promote the tool in their communities. So part of our partnership, we provide everything from digital assets like social media posts, digital banners, downloadable PDFs, things that really help spread the word. But we also have, physical materials, print materials, billboards. We have wallet cards, we have coasters, we have posters, we have really everything that you would need to spread the word about Man Therapy in your community. Again, this is readily available through our partnerships. We also have things like radio spots, TV spots, press release, packages, drafts to really just help spread the word about Man Therapy. All of these turnkey assets are designed to promote the tool, but also to do that initial work of disarming and busting through that stigma, right? So we understand, if men are using the restroom and they see a Dr. Rich poster hanging above the toilet, that may be interesting enough for them to visit mantherapy.org, and that's a win for us. We're getting men into the site, we're getting men into the experience to start engaging with their mental health. If they see a billboard when they're driving, if they hear a radio spot, all of those things start to do that work to really get men thinking differently about their mental health. And then once they're on the website experience, again, we provide everything from the head inspection to general mental health resources to tips and tricks to testimonials, all designed to really encourage men to take action and understand what's going on with their mental health, and then reach out for care directly through the site. So we provide state and local resources through our partnership with the state of Wyoming and Carbon County. Those we can upload, any relevant resources in your community that do the work to support men's mental health and well-being overall. We want to drive awareness and traffic to through Man Therapy. And then also provide that real-time reporting to really understand how community-based mental health support like Man Therapy is actually delivering impact in your community. So all of this really led us to do our foundational research. We did a 4-year CDC-funded research study in the state of Michigan, really analyzing 2 different areas when it comes to men's mental health support. The first is, do community-based programs like Man Therapy actually work in accomplishing those main goals that we set out to accomplish: shrinking stigma, encouraging help seeking, and improving overall mental health? And then specifically, how effective was Man Therapy in actually reducing suicidal ideation and depression among working age men specifically? We are thrilled to say that both research trials were positive, and that 80% of men improved on depression over the course of the research in both fronts. And then when it came to Man Therapy specifically, 36% of men moved from high to moderate or low risk for depression and suicide. So what we know is that Man Therapy works, and people who use mantherapy.org, people who see our assets in the community, people who engage with our tools, see improved mental health. They see improved problem solving when it comes to actually reaching out for support, and they see improvements in help seeking behavior more broadly when it comes to their mental health. So we're really excited to be in partnership with you all and your organization. A little bit of high level statistics over our decade of work. Over 2 million men since 2012 have visited mantherapy.org. Over 450,000 men have completed our 18-point head inspection, and over 5 million unique page views have been viewed on mantherapy.org. So really, that's the name of the game for us. We're really trying to help you all do that prevention work in your communities. We're trying to connect with men who are oftentimes hard to connect with, break through that stigma, and really just encourage men to understand that addressing their mental health is the manliest thing they can do. So that's it in a nutshell. Happy to answer any questions or talk a little bit more about Man Therapy if that's helpful.
Thanks, Trip. That was great. It was a great overview of what we're trying to do here. So from one of the people that have worked on this campaign, and a guy, what do you think is one of the best ways to hear about this campaign? How do you share it, or how can community members get their guys to engage in this?
Totally. I kind of mentioned it earlier. I do think the most effective ways are going to the spaces where men are. And that maybe sounds easier said than done, but I think that's why we provide such a robust marketing toolkit, because we understand that, if you're thinking about the more, rural, older demographic men, maybe, those are harder to reach in like the digital spaces. So those physical assets, seeing a poster out in public or something really resonates and really kind of catches your attention in a different way. But we've seen a lot of effectiveness in going directly to those digital spaces as well, right? Like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, where men are oftentimes more likely to be searching around for things that are relevant to these topic areas, but might not necessarily be looking for Man Therapy specifically. If you can catch those men with an attention-grabbing, piece like "A mustache is no place to hide your emotions," or when you need a pork shoulder to cry on. We've seen a lot of success with running promotional social media assets like that, and really driving men into not only Man Therapy, but also all the community-based resources that we support through Man Therapy. So I think, again, it's maybe sometimes easier said than done in that way, but I think really going directly to those spaces where men are, and again, casting a wide net, because there are all different types of men, all of whom would benefit from man therapy, and really connecting with the resources that we have through the site.
That's great, thanks. That's really good advice. Would you mind I know Joe talked a little bit with our coalition yesterday, but the greater community also, about some of the other campaigns that you guys are doing. Some of your college work, he mentioned first responders and veterans. I think it gives people, so they can see how involved in this you are and how invested you are in mental health in general. But a lot of these are for men, veterans and our first responders. So what are some of the other things you guys are doing?
Sure, yeah, that's a great question. So Joe's been doing the hard work of supporting mental health and behavior change for 3 decades now. He started doing that work from a creative lens, 30 years ago. He kind of adapted this belief in behavior change model through his marketing business, and then realized, in partnership with the state, that, you can leverage that type of work to really solve challenging problems across a range of different audience types. So again, in 2012, we started Grit Digital Health. We're based in Denver, Colorado, started with Man Therapy. And then in 2014, actually, we partnered with Colorado State University up north of us in Fort Collins. They had a 2-year period where they had 17 completed suicides on campus, and they were really eager to address college student mental health. Again, similar approach to Man Therapy. Like, if we are waiting for students to raise their hand and say they're in crisis, we're too late. And we have a range of student types that we have to address. So, we understand there's no one size fits all when it comes to supporting students. So really, we partnered with them to understand the unique challenges facing higher education, facing students, faculty, and staff. And we built what we call the first to market comprehensive approach to supporting student mental health and well-being through a platform called You at College. You can learn more at youatcollege.com. That's been at over 200 campuses nationwide. And again, it's really a similar approach, personalizing tools, making it customizable to institutions, connecting people to resources online and in their communities. And we've done that work for over a decade. Again, foundational partnership with Colorado State, and we built a few other tools, crisis navigation tool with the CU Anschutz Medical Campus and University of Colorado Denver here. Again, name of the game is connecting students to resources in a timely manner. That work then led us to partner again with the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment to take on the issue of rising suicide rates among the veteran population. So the U platform that we built for students, again, it's built on this mental model that we call Succeed, Thrive, Matter. When I talked earlier about mental health not existing in a vacuum, what that means is, again, every aspect of someone's life will impact their mental health. Mental health will impact every aspect of someone's life. So taking this sort of triangulated approach, comprehensive in nature, supporting everything from basic needs, financial literacy, career development, to mental physical health, sleep, relationships, purpose, identity, belonging. All of these things create this triad of need and support that we realized we could really kind of fine tune to support the veteran population as well, right? Veterans give up so much and sacrifice so much of their time, energy, lives to really support us. And so what we wanted to do was in turn support that transition back into civilian life, right? It's a very unique situation that requires a unique tool and a unique platform. So we took that approach, that comprehensive approach with the U platform, and built it specifically for veterans. It's laced with veteran specific content, but again, all about the transition back into civilian life, which is foundational, hinges on supporting that mental, physical health, but also supporting all those other areas of a veteran's life. And then that work also led us to address another very specific and important population, which is emergency responders. So as you know, during the COVID pandemic, those people were on the front lines doing work every day and experiencing those feelings of burnout, fatigue, depression, a community that was hit very hard by the hard work that they do every day. COVID was a microcosm of that, but we understand that day in and day out, before COVID, during COVID, after COVID, situation is the same. So really taking that same comprehensive approach to supporting that population as well. So it would probably be helpful if I mentioned you can visit operationveteranstrong.org to view our work that we're doing with veterans, and then u.responderstrong.org to learn about what we're doing with first responder population.
Thank you. That's great. I just appreciate how invested you guys are. You Department of Health. Well, I've seen man therapy forever. My husband and I are avid Colorado Avalanche and Nuggets fans, so we've seen it on altitude. And so when Department of Health said they were going to invest in this and partner with you guys on this, it was exciting. But I didn't learn how invested you guys were until I met with Joe and then his presentation, and learned even more today from you. I just really appreciate that not only are you guys creating something for people that is beneficial, but you guys are so invested that you just keep creating and you just keep moving forward and trying to move the needle. I think it's just such an amazing thing that you guys are doing, and I love that it has been sustainable, and I hope that here in Wyoming, becoming partners with you guys, we can sustain this. As you said, we always have the highest rates of suicide in the country. And I love your new work with firearms. It's a big piece of what we're talking about. We have a training here in Wyoming called Conversations Around Access to Lethal Means. And we're really talking about gun safety, but how it pertains to suicide. So all of this just goes so well together, and I really appreciate everything you guys do for this community. And I say community, I mean human beings.
Sure.
Those of us that really need this extra help. And I don't know, Janet, if we have any questions out there from anybody in the Facebook world.
Yes, I don't have any at this time.
Okay.
Sure.
Post.
Yeah, I think real quick, Tracy, I think one thing that's just really important to touch on, and I think is really, one, it's great to hear echoed back, but it's important just to remind people when it comes to doing this work, I mean, any work more broadly, but this work specifically, everyone has their why. Everyone has a why of why they do what they do, why they're passionate about what they do. I can speak anecdotally as a 32-year-old man who struggled with mental health things, that this work is really important because there are so many men out there who are struggling, who need help, who are afraid to ask for it because of societal norms, because of the way they were raised, because of their personality types, whatever perception there is around connecting to care and asking for help, specifically and stereotypically in these rural communities and these communities where the mentality is stiff upper lip, cowboy up, figure your stuff out on your own. I think it's important to remind people that the community is so important. The work you all are doing is so vital, and that's what we're trying to support. We're trying to be another vehicle to reach people who need help. People do not have to go through these things alone, whether it be on the suicide prevention effort or the asking for help effort. Like, all of those things matter. They're so integral in our communities. We are slowly chipping away at this stereotype and at this stigma surrounding mental health, but that work, it comes from community-based efforts like this and really understanding the core needs of what actually works and resonates with people, and then connecting them to care, once you have their attention. It's so important. And I just want to say kudos to you all, the work you're doing. We're so honored and happy to be able to support you because this work really matters. It's our life. It's what we do, with our time and choose to do with our time because we believe in it so much. And again, just thanks so much for letting us partner with you all and support the work you're doing. And we're really just excited to see the impact Man Therapy can have.
Thanks. That's awesome. And I really, I think now more than ever, this kind of stuff is really important. And we can do the work. We can't always control everything around us, right? But we can work really hard in our own communities to make sure people have the resources they need, and that they ask for help, and that they reach out and know that it's okay to ask for help, and that there is that the stigma around that needs to go away, because we can all use more than duct tape, right? For our mental health, for all of those things that we have to all deal with as humans on a daily basis. So I just want to thank you guys again for being a part of this, and For the community, we will continue to support band therapy and put it on our socials. Like you said, if you go and do the 18-point inspection, you can then be linked to Carbon County and Wyoming resources. We have shared those resources with Man Therapy, and so this is truly a partnership. We are working with them in partnership to make sure that people are getting the health care and the mental health that they need. And so look for trainings coming up. We have a couple of trainings, suicide prevention trainings in Carbon County this month around lethal means. We're going to continue to have Man Therapy stuff out there on our socials, and we're going to start doing some posters. I like what you said, Trip, about going to where they are. So there's lots of places, I think, wallet cards and coasters and all those things. We'll get them out there so that we can hit on everybody. Not everybody's on social media, we know that. So we're trying to be better about going to people where they are. I love how you said that, and I appreciate that. So that's all we have for today. And again, thank you, Man Therapy, and thank you, Carbon County community, for joining us today. And we'll see you next month.
Thank you, everyone.